Okay, hi guys. This is Andy and Heather and their dog Baxter. Tell us, guys, how long you guys have Baxter?
A year and a half.
You have him about a year and a half. And how old was he when you got him?
About 9 months, 10 months old.
And how did you get Baxter?
I got him from the pound.
From an animal shelter?
Yeah.
Which animal shelter?
The town of Hempstead.
Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter?
Yep.
When you got him, how old did they say he was?
They said he was about 8 or 9 months old
He
when
was
I
about
got
8
him.
or 9 months old. Did they potentially tell you what kind of dog they thought he was?
They had 100 different things. They said he could be a Labrador.
Yeah.
They could be a
German
Shepherd. You know, they just said he was a dog.
He's a big dog.
Yeah, that's what I wanted though.
large
I wanted a big dog.
You wanted a big dog.
Yeah.
And we got him before we started dating.
Oh, so you guys weren't even together. So you had the dog before you had Heather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just before.
That must have been a big move. But you know what I mean? For you too. Like, not only just to get involved with him, you knew the dog came along with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the dog's what got him, Heather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now that you mention
Oh yeah, I really love this dog. A lot.
Listen, tell me about the history. When you first got Baxter, how would you describe, like, what was going on with him? Tell me about Baxter.
He was super energetic, super all over the place.
He was a lunatic.
He was a lunatic. He didn't listen. I was afraid that if he ever got out of the house or off the leash, I would never be able to catch him. One time we went to my parents' house and he was running and he was jumping the fences between the houses and I was chasing him up and down the street. I couldn't get him. And
How'd you eventually get him, as a fact?
he got tired. He got tired. I mean, I tried everything. I tried cookies. I tried opening the car door. I tried talking sweet to him. Everything. He didn't want no part of it.
And what was your experience, Heather, once you began dating Andy and before you guys got married and you moved in together and all of that? Like, how was your relationship with the dog at first?
It was okay. Right when I guess we first started dating, we thought he had fleas, and neither of us really had any experience with that. So we got combs and stuff, and he got really mad. He was very mean at that time. So
He was aggressive to you?
Yeah.
Like when you tried to go over him with the flea
He
comb?
didn't like it,
Yeah.
and so
He would show his teeth at you, stuff
he
like
showed
that?
his teeth at me, and then he, I put him in his crate. That was his punishment, but he didn't really care.
So he was kind of hard to deal with.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And that was, Andy lived in a basement apartment then, and it was not a big place, and the dog was...
So you had a giant dog, you was out of control, in cramped quarters, and a new girl.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
Quite an adventure.
he would eat holes in his crate. I would come home and I'd find the crate broken with him half in it and half out of it, crying.
He got trapped in the bathroom, and he put his paw through the door. It was like a hollow door, and opened it up. So the whole door was destroyed.
So that was typical stuff you would try to do, put him in the bathroom, he'd eat his way out of the bathroom, like... I could see that about him.
Yeah.
I mean, when we first came here to meet Baxter, I was shaking my head like, I don't know how you guys are living with this dog. I mean, he would bounce off the walls.
And that's what I said, too. I didn't want to live with this dog.
It was so, you're telling me it was basically coming to an end. It was
I will say
nearing-
this, the week, when you guys came, it was the week before the wedding. That Monday, you came on a Wednesday. That Monday, I took him out for a walk. Andy was asleep because he had worked like 18 days straight with Hurricane Irene. And I took him out for a walk, and he dragged me about 20 feet, chasing either like another dog or another dog. Because when I got up, I had scrapes all over me. I had to come in and change my clothes. I was getting ready to go to work. And the dog owner said, "Wow." And I was like, yeah, that's it, this dog's completely out of my control. And so I came in, and and Andy's parents were here because they were here for the wedding. And I went into I very quietly went into the bedroom and woke him up. And I said, this part wasn't quiet, and I'll take out the curses, but I said, if you weren't here today, I would put the dog in the car and take him to the pound and leave him there and not feel bad about it at all. Because he's too big. Like, I can't...
It's just too much.
He's too much for me.
It's me or the dog.
Well,
It's the oldest man.
I wouldn't even get that option. It would have been the dog is gone. I would have come home.
Right.
Yeah, he joined the zoo. He went to the circus.
I had to put on my wedding dress, and I had, scrapes down my whole chest.
That's Okay, that's good. That's a good before.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good picture of like what this dog looks
And
like.
literally an hour later, and I went to work, and an hour later, he called me and said that he had called you guys.
Yeah.
And you came like 2 days later to meet the dog.
Okay, let's talk about it now from that point. When you came and you met us and we presented the idea of the program to you and everything, what was your first response to that? What did you think about that? What did you guys say about that? What did you say about us pulling them back after we left?
We just said that we thought it sounded like you knew what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much it. You seemed confident that it was gonna work, so we seemed confident. That
And you
it was gonna
trusted
work.
us.
Yeah. Well, you know, we very clearly were doing things wrong, and that was the thing. Is like we both knew we were trying to put in time on things and we didn't understand how to do it. So it was like completely wasted time, and it wasn't working. Nothing was working. So we figured, well, if you had an idea of how it was going to work, and also you said that it was going to take a while, which I sort of trusted more, because I knew there was no way that you were just going to be able to fix him overnight, you know. So.
But how long have we been working together with the dog? A little over 3 months.
Yeah.
So the whole process took a little over 3 months.
A little over 3 months, yeah. And to me, it was like taking a college class. Like, it was like taking a class on how to train this dog and how to train a dog. I know that with Andy's proclivity for large, kind of dumb dogs, that we're going to have more, you know? It's not, if something happens to this dog, he's going to come home with a even bigger one. You know, I know it. And so to me, it's a lot more comfortable that, okay, now I understand what we're going to have to do.
That's the ideal situation. I often tell clients this, that, you know, this is not, although it may seem at the moment that it's about the dog you now currently have. Mm-hmm. What I'm really doing is that I'm passing a skill on to you. Because I walk you through this process step by step, and I explain each step as I go, you've now acquired a certain insight, a certain skill that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, if you're a dog lover, if you're a dog guy, if you're dog people, you're going to have another dog. So absolutely. You might as well learn the skill now, you know what I mean, and take advantage of it. That's why we opt for this type of program rather than a send the dog away for training program, which can work in extreme circumstances if people are far away and there's no other way to do it.
Right.
But what the program that you guys have, and also I have to say the result you guys have had, the extreme out of control to the extreme picture of being under control in about a 90-day period, it's about as best as a result as we could expect. And a lot of that we have to congratulate you guys on, because you were excellent at following the directions. You guys really did a good job at following the directions. He's not the easiest case. You had your hands full with him, but you trusted us and you did everything we were told. I want to ask you something. Did the program make sense to you? Do you feel that part of being educated about dog training, do you feel fulfilled in that you learned a lot?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think really it was seeing it from the beginning, with first doing the treats and then doing the leash training and then keeping the leash on in the house. Those kinds of things made sense. It was step by step, you know. It was one thing, and then you got a little bit more, so it became sort of like a pyramid.
Yeah.
You know?
So now looking at it from the back, now the whole thing makes sense to you, like why we started, where we started.
Yeah, sure. And also one of the things that you told me that made a lot of sense was that the dog was just an animal. You said, don't put your shit on the dog. And that's, I mean, what I was doing. I was like, I hate this dog. He doesn't listen to me. He doesn't, you know,
You're taking
do
it
this,
personal.
he doesn't do that. And you were like, yeah, stop taking it personally. He's an animal. He takes your food off the table because he can, you know. He does all these things because he can. So just make it so that he can't. You know, make it so that, you know, you're kind of his priority on... And that's the way it is now. I like him so much more. We do things with him so much more. Even with the training, I got to sort of know him a little bit better instead of looking at him and seeing an obligation, which is what I saw. You know, I saw just like really how much work he was. And now, like, I like him. I almost love him.
That's great.
We're working on
it. That's listen. That's
I'm more
great.
than just like him.
I have to say, Andy has a very strong proclivity and did a lot of things naturally. I was stunned at about halfway in the program. There was a point where he came in here and he had grasped the concept, and he worked so fluidly with the dog. his timing at rewarding the dog, when he spoke happily to the dog, when he spoke harshly to the dog, I could tell that he had a good instinctive feel for how the dog learned. Once I showed him the principles, he kind of ran with it, like really quick, like about as best as I could expect. And what I would say is, I'm really happy with the results. I mean, I want to ask you guys something too. Did you find this to be reliable?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Sure. I would have to say, you're sort of part of our family now in a weird way. I guess you probably hear that a lot, but we spent a lot of time with you, working with the dog. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the fact that you call, you follow up, you want to find out if there's been hiccups, any setbacks.
Right, and we know that if there was a problem, we could call you and you would come right away. I feel that completely.
I know you guys just recently went away on a vacation, which was a familiar vacation for the dog, but on the previous vacation to the same location, the dog wasn't trained.
Right.
So you probably had some people there who knew the dog before and knew the dog after. What was their reaction?
Shock and awe.
They couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
They literally couldn't believe it. His whole family, his mom, his brother, his sister, his dad, they could not believe it. But I sometimes can't believe it.
Yeah.
Like I tell the ladies I work with, because I used to say that he was such a terrible dog, and now I'm like, no, he's all right. We're doing okay, and he listens, and they couldn't believe it. He's a 100% a different dog. He's calmer too, which I never thought. I thought we would just be able to kind of
tolerate him.
Yeah, get things done and be able to sort of live our lives, and he could be there too. But now he's like so much calmer because it's like he has a job to do, so his focus is so much better.
And all the bad stuff he would do, eating the garbage, being a scavenger. If I go to get a can of soda, I come back, my meal is gone.
Right.
He doesn't do any of that stuff anymore.
Right, because we can just tell him to come with us and he'll come. Or we can tell him to go in place and we know that he'll stay there and he won't do anything.
Do you feel comfortable now taking him out, taking him off the leash? He's following all the commands reliably.
I let my nephews come over. My nephew James was here the other day. He's 2. And he does a great impression of me with Baxter.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Look, 2 things I'll ask you now. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with
10.
what? A 10.
10, yeah.
For sure.
And you would recommend us to other people?
To anybody.
Yeah, to anybody.
To anybody. We thought, in the beginning we thought, wow, this is a lot of money that we're investing. But it was 100 times worth it. For sure. Because I can't imagine... Our lives sucked before because our dog sucked. Our lives were not great because our dog was terrible. I couldn't invite people over. We couldn't trust anybody to take him out. Like, if we were going away, I wouldn't have somebody come in here to take care of him because he was a terrible dog.
Yeah, you couldn't subject anyone
I
else.
was like, well, you might lose him. You might go in the ocean and run away from you, and that'll be it. So... Definitely, it was worth it a million times over.
It's a great success story, it really is. A great success story, rescue dog, big, thick-headed, hyper-aggressive rescue dog, gets domesticated, you 2 end up happily married. It's like, you guys have like the happy family now, like the perfect family,
Yeah.
The perfect family. Listen, I just want to say thank you guys. Okay, I've personally enjoyed you guys tremendously. You guys although I do get attached to all my clients, you guys are special to me. We clicked from the beginning, and I feel like you guys couldn't have done a better job with the dog. You followed my directions really perfectly. You had confidence in the things I was telling you, and you didn't hesitate to follow through. And that's another part of why you got the results. 2 things: you followed the directions, and you did show a certain little knack and aptitude for it. So your result was even a little above average, I would say. Also, I think Baxter was a little underestimated. Certain things about his temperament, which make untrained dogs particularly problematic, actually become a benefit.
Right.
Because they're the kind of dogs that really want to do a job and want to have something to do. Right. And once you get involved in this relationship of training the dog and interacting with the dog, it kind of changes the whole dynamics of the relationship. But again, you guys were great, and thanks for your confidence.